everybody, welcome back to Cozy Conversations. My name is Sarah,
My name is Terryn.
and we're excited to just bring back another cozy recap episode. How are you
Yes,
doing, Taryn?
I'm doing all right. It is very gloomy outside. We've been having some thunder
Ooh,
showers this afternoon, so it's super
that's fun.
cozy here.
I love how I ask you how you're doing, even though we didn't just spend like the past hour on FaceTime.
I know, right? Well, we gotta let the listeners know.
That we
Bring
love
them
each
into
other,
our Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. See,
speaking of listeners, if you have not listened to the last episodes of this Ministry and Purpose series, definitely go back and catch those. We've
yeah,
just had some amazing conversations with amazing people on this podcast
yes.
season. So definitely go back and catch those if you haven't already heard them.
It's just been such a good series, I think. I think that we had this idea for how we wanted it to go, but obviously the Lord played it out in such a different way that's actually been such a huge blessing. And
Yeah.
it's been so fun to get to know our guests that we've had. So we hope that our listeners have enjoyed those as well.
Yeah, exactly. I know I've loved it.
But I figured today we can just kind of do our cozy little catch up.
What books or movies or other cozy things have you been up to, Sarah?
Yeah, so for books, I've been reading a classic book called Far from the Maddening Crowd by
Yeah.
Thomas Hardy. I'm actually been trying to get involved with a book club here in the Lynchburg area that reads classic literature. And the book for April is Far from the Maddening Crowd, and I have it. So I've been reading it. So hopefully I have that finished by the 26th.
You can do
Stay
it.
tuned. But in terms of TV, I started watching Once Upon a Time,
Yes.
which is basically this show that this like fairy tale storybook characters are cursed to living in the real world,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
and but they don't know that they were cursed.
Okay.
And so basically it's this girl who has to like save them to break the curse, something to that effect.
Yeah.
It's good. It's definitely got those like fantasy adventure mystery type vibes.
I
So
love that. I'm hoping to start that show really soon.
yes, you have to. It's
Yeah.
good. And then in terms of movies, I've been doing like a monthly Lord of the Rings movie
Yes.
watching party with my small group. So last week, or no, well, yeah, last month in March, we watched The Fellowship of the Ring.
Uh-huh.
And then this past week, we watched The Two Towers, which is the
Those.
second Lord of the Rings. And let me just tell you how much I love those movies. Those are
Yes.
like the only movies that I actually own on my
Yes.
like
Yes.
Apple TV, whatever. And I only movies that I like actually rewatch on regular basis. So
Yes. I know how much you love those. I can't wait till we watch them together sometime because I still haven't seen them.
yes, you I know it's good. It's a
Yeah.
lot to take in when you
Yeah.
first watch it.
Right.
I'll admit the first time I watched it, I had no idea what was going on. I hadn't read the books yet. But but then by like the last time that I watched it before this one right now, it's like last fall,
Yeah.
you start picking up on like the characters' storylines and like the themes and everything. It's really good.
I
Yeah.
love that. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, and I have been watching on YouTube.
Oh.
I've probably mentioned her channel before, but it's called Little House on the Mountain.
Yeah. Yeah. That one
Yeah,
seems so
such
cozy.
cozy vibes. She's a strong Christian lady who is all about like intentionality and living in the day-to-day life.
Yeah.
So it's super fun just to turn on one of her videos because mainly it's like her like in her garden with her chickens or something like that.
I
So
love that so much.
yeah.
How cozy. Yeah.
What about you, Taryn?
Yeah, as far as reading, I just picked up this weekend a book called Framed by Robin Carroll. And
Mhm.
it's been good so far. It's very mysterious. It's about these two rich families who have a lot of tension between them. And Yeah, it's just very intense, very um as far as plot line, there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That
I've been
sounds good.
enjoying that. I'm not too far into it, so we'll see how it goes as I continue to read it. But yeah, I've been reading that. Um, also been keeping on with the intentional year, which I know I've mentioned on
Yes.
before on the podcast, but that's a really good book. I'm really enjoying it. Just their ideas for like being intentional and spirit led,
I love that.
in daily life. In terms of movies and TV shows, um, we've been watching Kids Baking Championship, which has been really
Those
fun.
kids are striving better
I
at
know.
life than
It makes me feel bad about
I'm
myself every
like,
time I watch it. I'm like,
I back when I worked in an office, because I don't work in an office now, I like baked brownies one time
yes.
for a like work party thing. And oh my goodness, my what was it that was expired? I had you on the phone too, I think. Oh
Yes.
yeah, because you
Was
were
it your
still in
butter, I
town. You
think?
were it was the vegetable oil that was
Oh, yeah, yeah.
expired.
I remember
And I'm
that.
like, can I use it if it's expired? And I'm like,
I
all these
know.
people in the office are supposed to have like a ice cream brownie sundae tomorrow
Right.
bar thing.
Uh-huh.
And what if I poison them all with expired vegetable
All of
oil?
them. Exactly. That would not be good. That's not what we want.
That would be so bad. Anyways, I ended up using butter, I think.
Yeah. I like butter and brownie. Like I'm always like anytime you can substitute butter is a good thing,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
But I was like on Google, like, can you
I
substitute
remember.
this for that? And I
I
was
remember
like,
I was on Google because I was like, I don't know what to tell you.
yeah.
I don't want it to be like our fault that everyone is poisoned.
Anyways, so yeah, so that's my experience with baking. Um,
Yeah.
but then a couple weeks ago, so now that I work from home,
Uh-huh.
one evening I got off work around like 8:30 and I was like, I want chocolate chip cookies.
Yes, I remember
I
this.
didn't have like the packaged chocolate chip cookies, so I
Right.
Googled what ingredients do you need for chocolate chip cookies?
Uh-huh.
And I had all of those ingredients
What do you know?
and I made chocolate chip cookies. It was exciting.
That's what we like to hear.
Yes, yeah. So that was super fun. But let's just say that that was the extent of my baking. Every year when I worked in an office though, I did Rice Krispie treats for Valentine's Day.
Uh-huh.
So those were fun to do too, but because
Yes.
those are so easy, you just
Yeah. Yeah, they're so easy. And they're
melt the
fun.
marshmallows and just put it all together.
Right, exactly.
So,
Yeah. We love us
but
some.
that's fun, the kids baking show.
Yeah,
Won't
it is.
catch me on that show anytime soon.
Exactly. Yeah, they're very I don't know if inspirational is the right word, but they're very good at what they do. And they make us feel bad about ourselves. But I really want to eat the stuff they make because it looks so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. How are things going in terms of Graceway graphics, cute and cozy?
Yeah. Well, Cute and Cozy has been a lot of fun. And I think I'm at 685 followers, so that's super exciting. Hopefully continuing to grow that. Waiting to be approved from Amazon to be an Amazon associate. So, that's
That's
exciting.
exciting.
Yeah, but I just am trying to make I just want to bring like all the cozy vibes to that Instagram channel. So,
Yeah.
um
And your reels are really, no pun intended. Sorry, everybody. You had to hear that. Um, like they're getting so many views. One of
yeah.
them has like over 3,000.
I know. I'm excited about it. I guess we'll just see where it goes, but um yeah,
That's
I'm
exciting.
excited about that. And Graceway Graphics has been going well. I'm really enjoying writing like the blog once a
Yeah.
month for that. That's been a lot of fun and just to like ask the Lord what he wants me to write. And like this
Yeah.
last time I had like nothing, absolutely nothing in my brain to put down and I was like, Lord, like I have a blog post I need to post this week. Like you need to give me something. And
Ooh,
like
that's good.
I sat down and I tried to write something like Tuesday before I was supposed to post it on Friday. Nothing. Wednesday, nothing. Thursday, I sat down and like I had the idea and I wrote in like 15 minutes. I just love it when the Lord like does
Yeah.
that, and he like gives you things when you're asking for them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And so that has
Totally.
been fun. Yeah. So I'm loving that. But what about you, Sarah? What's
I've
going
been
on in your
there
world? Yes.
with in terms of not knowing what to write. So I haven't written for my blog in probably a few months.
Yeah.
I need to do it. I think this episode, today's Tuesday, April 16th
Yes.
at 7:04 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. By the time this podcast wow, I can't talk. By the time this podcast releases on Friday, April 19th at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, I will, I need to have a blog post ready to go.
You can do it.
Just a quick like writing update.
Yes.
I started draft two
Yes.
of my crime fiction novel, and I also gave it a name.
Yes, you did.
I don't want to say title because
Yeah.
it's not the official
Right.
book's title.
Hmm.
Um, so I just a lot of writers on Instagram will do something where they call their work in progress project and then whatever is used to describe
Yeah.
the project.
Like a nickname almost.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I've been calling my crime fiction novel Project Resurrection
That is
for
so
about like
cool.
a week now, less than a week probably.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah,
I love
it's
that.
kind of exciting because it's kind of giving me like a focal point, it has
Yeah.
a name now.
Right, right.
So, that's exciting.
Yes. I just am so excited and seeing your daily updates of like working on chapter, 4 of 71 or whatever, and like just seeing
Yeah.
that number go up. I'm like so excited.
Yeah. Thanks, Taryn. Yeah, no, but I totally feel the whole thing of like not knowing what the Lord wants you to write, or my problem too is okay, I know what I want to write and I know the plot that I have to take like to get there,
Right.
but I don't know how to specifically execute that in this scene. So
Oh,
I was
yeah.
writing this afternoon on my lunch break and I got to this point and I was like, I don't even know what is going on right now in this book. Like what's
Oh,
going on? And I just felt like the Lord like put something on my heart. And I was like, okay, well, I guess we're going with that now. So
yeah. That's so cool. Yeah.
yeah.
I feel like that's such a
So
testament too of how important it is to just be spirit led and like always
yes.
be in that like communion and like pray continually, like always just have your
Yes.
heart
Yeah.
open to the Lord's like nudging. Like, yeah, I love that,
Yes.
Sarah.
It reminds me too of like I mentioned earlier, I've been watching a lot of Little House on the Mountain
Yes.
videos on YouTube, and she's always talking about her name's Lee. I don't know how to pronounce her last name, but Lee is
Oh,
always talking about how to be intentional not only with like your choices you make and things like that, but with your thought patterns
yeah, yep,
and also just with what you're thinking about and even like what you're going through and things like that.
yeah,
So it's just a reminder to just be intentional with all of that and being spirit led and letting, having those quiet moments with the Lord to let him
yeah,
speak to you rather than giving him your dirty laundry list or whatever they call it.
yeah, yep,
So yeah,
yeah,
just some encouragement.
yeah. I love that so much. It reminds me of what Dr. Miller talked about on the podcast
Yeah.
when she was
Hmm.
talking about how the Lord like spoke to her in the midst of leading an event. And
Yeah.
like I feel like, and then she was also talking a lot about like balance in ministry and like being very clear on what the Lord's calling is for you in a season. And like, you know,
Yeah.
there's so many good things to be in. And Lindsay Dietz the next week was talking about just, like you don't want to just fill your life with good things.
Right.
You want it to be what the Lord's called you to in that season because there's
Yeah.
always good things and there's always going to be more you can do. So I just feel like that goes along with that intentionality and like hearing his voice and like we have
Yeah.
to have those quiet moments before him to and be open to hearing his voice. And so I just love that
Right.
you we're talking just like that. I feel like those two things go hand in hand, like to be intentional in our daily lives, like we really have to hear from the Lord about what he wants us
Yeah.
to be intentional. We have to have intentional time with the Lord in order to be intentional.
Yeah, it makes me think too, just as a writer, like I'll have seasons where I'll walk through like writer's block
Yeah,
and I'm just like not sure. I don't write as much, or
yeah,
it's just not that fun to me at
right.
that point in time. But the Lord has really shown me during those seasons of time that like writer's block can even happen in people like who aren't writers. They could
Yeah,
experience a season of just almost feeling like stuck.
yeah,
And I think that's
yeah,
really when you feel those feelings of being stuck or just being in a place where you can't get out of or just feeling like you're not hearing from the Lord. I think
right.
that's really just the Lord calling you to just sit and be still
Yeah,
and take the time to read his word and listen to him.
yeah,
And he will, and another fun thing too is about the Lord is just he'll speak to you in so many different ways.
yeah, yeah,
I remember like maybe I think 2 years ago, I was going through this season of kind of just impatience of just waiting for like the next stage in life.
yeah,
And I came across three different Instagram posts. I
yeah,
screenshotted them all. I still have them on my
yeah,
phone, but three different Instagram posts within a span of one day, but three different, completely different people, all sharing about their own personal seasons of waiting.
yeah, yeah,
And I remember one guy shared about his name is Tyler Russell. He's actually the Karen Kingsbury's son and the director of the Someone Like You movie.
yeah.
Small plug for the movie.
Yes.
If you want to go see it, check it out. It's super good. But he was sharing about like waiting at a red light.
Uh-huh.
What are you doing in the car when you're waiting? Are you listening to music? You're enjoying the time or
Yeah,
whatever. Just,
yeah.
you know, in the waiting, there's times where, you know, the Lord's going to call you to wait for something, to wait for that next stage, but enjoy it with
Yes.
the season that you're in, which is pretty much what we've been talking about, like during this whole season of
Yeah,
ministry and purpose is about like where you're at in life right now and how to be
right.
intentional
Yeah,
with your decisions during that time.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was definitely super encouraging. So I think too, just as encouragement for those listening, is just listening. Just take time to wait on the Lord and to listen to what he
Yeah.
has for you, and he will make it known as long as you just be still and listen to him.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think too, just the intentionality too with our decisions and
Yeah, that's so good. I just feel like it's such a good point you made too of not just going to the Lord with like your list and just like
right.
flying down your list of things. It reminds me of like Joshua and Moses when they
Yeah.
used to go to like the tent and meeting to meet with the Lord, and like
Hmm.
Joshua would stay behind and he would sit because he just wanted to be in the presence of God. And we might have talked about this
Yeah.
before, but just that like it's not all about us talking, like it's about us
Right.
sitting, like just reading his word and then just sitting, and being quiet before him and asking him, to show it, give us guidance, to reveal sin in our lives, to
Yeah.
like we see that through the Psalms, like did the way David talked to the Lord and just like asked him to reveal things. And I think that's so important for us to just like not just us coming and like giving him, like you said, our laundry list of things we're asking for, but like to really sit
Yeah.
before him and let him speak to us or reveal new things about his word, and just like you said, there's different
Yeah.
seasons too, somewhere we might maybe we feel like we're really hearing from the Lord all the time, and then other times it might be kind of a dry season, but still just giving that time to sit in his presence and be with his word
Hmm.
and listen, because it's like, how are we going
Yeah.
to hear if we don't listen? So I love
Right.
that. It's really good.
For sure. And on kind of the flip side of that is, you know, the Lord still hears us in the
Yes,
midst of those times when we
absolutely.
feel like we're not able. There's a scripture in Romans 8 that says
Yeah.
the Spirit intercedes with groanings too deep for
Yes.
words,
Yes.
which I just absolutely love
Mhm.
that passage just because it's such a encouragement to me. But I just remember I was walking through a season where I knew something needed to change. I knew that there was someone that I needed to let go of, and
Mhm.
I knew that I needed kind of like a way out in that situation.
Yeah.
And I remember just literally laying in bed and crying out to the Lord, like, Lord, I need something to happen, something to move. I need something to change
Yeah.
with the situation. And it's so cool because a week later, the Lord answered my prayer in such a tangible way that I've never truly felt before in my
Yeah.
own personal life.
Yeah.
So I think too, just taking to heart that like when you're going through something that's super difficult and you don't know what to pray, or you feel like
Mm-hmm.
your prayers are just cries and anguish and
Yeah.
just despair, the Lord still hears those. And He might
Yes,
not
he
answer it
does.
within a week, He might not answer it within a day, maybe even not even a year,
Yeah.
but He still hears you. And we can it reminds me of what it says in James, so that every good gift is from comes from above.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when we have those seasons, the Lord still gifts us with things that bring joy
Yeah.
and that encourage us. And we hope that, these episodes on Cozy Conversations have been an encouragement for you, with
Yeah.
no matter what you're walking through in each
Yeah.
season of life.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, so I think it's been really cool to see too. You mentioned both Dr. Miller, such an honor to have her on our
Yes.
podcast,
Yes.
and Lindsay Dietz, also just an amazing honor to get to know those two ladies and talk with them and have a cozy conversation with them
Yeah.
and just see like their different phases of life and where they're at. I feel like this season has just been such a blessing.
Yeah.
And we haven't mentioned this yet, but this past Sunday was the 1 year anniversary of Cozy
Yeah.
Conversation.
Happy, happy 1 year birthday to the Cozy Conversations
Ha-
podcast.
Happy birthday, Cozy Conversations.
Yes.
I remember it was fun because you were in town.
Yeah, I had forgotten until
For,
you mentioned that. Yeah.
oh yeah, because you were here for
Night of
something.
worship, I think.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah. And I remember it was so exciting because we were like, oh, we're going to be together in person when the podcast launches.
yes, yeah. And you came and visited me on my lunch break.
Yes, that was
That
so
was
much
fun.
fun.
So it's been so much fun to get to do these weekly, and even in the seasons where we like take a break,
Yeah.
it's been exciting to hear from people that they're listening, they're tuning
Yes.
in. So we appreciate everyone's support,
Yeah.
and we're excited to see what the next year has in store.
Yeah, absolutely. And we really want to keep growing. So definitely share with your friends and, anyone who you think might could use some encouragement.
Yes.
And yeah, keep interacting on our socials. We definitely want to keep just growing and hopefully just being an encouragement to everyone who listens.
Yes. Terryn said it best. Terryn, this has been so much fun just getting to catch up on life and all
Yeah.
things cozy. Everyone, stay tuned for the upcoming episodes of Cozy Conversations.
Uh-huh.
Who are we going to interview? We don't even know. We're working on it. So stay tuned, and so will we. But today's Cozy Q is favorite breakfast food.
Ooh, yes, I love
Terryn.
this one. And I can't wait to see everyone's answers. But okay.
Yes.
Ooh, favorite breakfast. Oh, it's gotta be cinnamon rolls. I love me a good
Mm,
cinnamon roll. Cinnamon roll or donuts? Probably cinnamon rolls is good.
that sounds so good.
But like my favorite is like a big breakfast. Like, oh, my favorite thing ever
Yeah.
is we used to, whenever we went to my grandparents' house, my grandpa, eh, the day that we left. So a lot of times they lived by Kansas City, so we would go down
Hmm.
for the weekend. So and we drive home Sunday afternoon. So or sometimes Sunday after breakfast. So Sunday morning, I would wake up and I'd just be smelling like this big like
Mm.
breakfast, and it'd be bacon and eggs and hash browns and toast, or he'd make Belgian waffles and pancakes, sometimes
Ooh.
both. Like it was just so good, and yeah, it was delicious. So I also love that. I guess my breakfast food, if I were to pick one, it would probably be cinnamon rolls, but just breakfast in
Hmm.
general, like a giant big breakfast, specifically my grandpa's, so good. Yeah. What about you,
I love
Sam?
that. I that sounds super cozy too, just like a big
Yes.
breakfast. But that reminds me of every Christmas Eve, my mom does
Yes.
a Christmas Eve pajama party.
We love
So
that.
everyone comes in their pajamas, which
Oh,
is a cardinal rule. You have to come wearing your pajamas.
yes.
And my mom will cook this huge breakfast with like French toast casserole, quiche, sticky buns, like the monkey bread. Some
Oh,
people call it
yeah.
monkey bread, but we
Yeah.
call it sticky buns.
Uh-huh.
And we just have such a fun time.
I love
So
that.
that's definitely like a favorite breakfast food memory.
Yeah.
But I would say right now I'm really on the avocado toast train.
Oh, avocado toast is so good.
But what I do is I get the Dave's Everything bread. So
Oh,
Dave's is the brand.
okay.
It's like Killer, Dave's Killer Bread is the brand.
Okay.
And it's the everything, so it's got the everything but the bagel seasoning on the
Oh, I
outside.
love that. Yeah.
And it's a little bit smaller, so I usually do like two like after I work out. And then I slather an avocado on a half an avocado on each toast.
Yes.
And then I do a drizzle or a sprinkle, I should say, a dusting
Uh-huh.
of the everything but the bagel seasoning from Trader
Yes.
Joe's.
Uh-huh.
Then I cut up tomatoes and I put them on top. Then
So
I do a small, slight little drizzle of honey.
Sarah, you're making my mouth
And then I
water.
do more everything but the bagel seasoning because we all know I'm obsessed with it.
It's
And
so
let me
good.
tell you, it is so good.
It sounds amazing. I want some
It
right now.
it I will make you some, Terryn,
Yes. Yes. It
right
sounds
now.
so good. I love avocado toast and the everything but the bagel seasoning.
Oh, it's so
So
good.
good.
I go to this bagel place in town. It's called The Bagel and I love their breakfast bagels.
Yeah. They have good bagels.
Their bagels are so good.
I went there a couple times before I moved and like, yeah, I'm always down for a good bagel.
They have I can just go on about their bagels, but they have one called, it's named after a street in Lynchburg called the Enterprise. And it's the everything bagel
Uh-huh.
with the seasoning, and then it's got like ham, feta cheese, arugula, and fig jam spread.
Sounds so good.
I, it's so good.
That sounds really good. I remember getting the bagel I got in New York City.
Oh my goodness,
That
don't
was
even
to
mention
die
it.
for. Like with their cream cheese, the giant like homemade cream cheese. I don't even remember what kind I got in the middle and like oh, it was so good. I love it when they do the bagels like the bagel and I does that like where they put it. Well, I mean, I guess you can get bagel sandwiches too, but like you were saying, but anytime they put like the cream cheese in the bagel and then like
Yeah.
close it together and there's like this so good.
I want to go to New York just to try a bagel.
Yes. We have to go to New York sometime.
We should. Let's go right now.
Yeah, let's go. I'll meet you there.
I'm only
Bye,
eight
everyone.
hours. Stay cozy, bye.
Yeah.
You and I made a playlist back in the day,
Yeah. We did a New York
like the New
playlist.
York playlist,
Yeah. I love it.
songs that like remind us of New
New
York.
York. Yeah. New
Hmm.
York, bagels. This is a good chat.
This is a really good chat.
Yeah.
People probably think we're insane, but that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. We are.
We
We're
accept
just
it.
keeping it cozy.
Yeah. Exactly. Oh my goodness. Well, everyone, let us know your favorite breakfast food on our socials when I post the question. And yeah, we've had so
Or
much
just let
fun
us
these
know.
last yeah, exactly. We have had just so much fun these last couple weeks. It was just so great to have Dr. Miller and Lindsay Dietz on the podcast. So definitely go back and listen to those episodes if you missed them because they just had so much wisdom and advice and just I feel like the Lord really spoke through them,
Yeah.
especially talking about just ministry and purpose and just really pressing on as believers to be ministry minded in our daily lives. And so yeah, definitely go back and listen to those. But yeah, this has been such a cozy conversation.
It has, Taryn. This has been so much fun.
Yeah, and until next time.
Stay cozy.